Hi, this is Josh from the Josh in Japan podcast. And when I'm not too busy eating my sushi and drinking my Asahi super dry beer, I'm listening to You Are the Guest with Bill Grady.
My attorneys say that I need to ask everybody this question before we start the podcast, and it is this. Do I have your permission to record your voice and use it in whole or in part in an upcoming version of You Are the Guest?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. No, but you know what, Charlie? We don't have an attorney.
Welcome to You Are the Guest, a weekly show where you can be the guest and tell people what you and your friends and neighbors think about news, events, and issues of the day. It's part talk show, part opinion poll, part reality show, and a whole lot of fun. And it's completely dependent upon your participation as a guest. To be considered as a guest for a future show, check out the website at www.youaretheguest.com for details. Now here's your program host, Bill Grady.
Greetings from the great city of Fort Dodge, Iowa, and welcome to Show 14 of You Are the Guest, the show where we talk to everyday people just like you and me about their lives and about the issues of the day. Our guest today is from Jerusalem. Welcome, Charley and Carol.
Hi, Bill. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Well, I mean, there.
There,
With
here.
you.
Here.
In the potosphere.
Oh, God, I hate that word.
I know, but it's the only one I could think of.
Well, of course, you don't live in the potosphere. You live in Israel. So tell me about yourself and tell me about where you live.
You want to go first? Charlie's looking at me like, okay, do you want to go first?
Oh, I don't know. About myself?
Sure.
I personally, I like long walks on the beach, starry nights, poetry.
I'm a nurse during the day, podcaster on Fridays. We live just outside of Jerusalem, in a place called Sur Hadassah.
It's actually, I guess it would be considered a suburb of Jerusalem. It's just outside Jerusalem, southeast of Jerusalem, way up in the mountains. It's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous up here.
Have you always lived in Israel?
No, we have not.
No, we moved here 9 years ago.
From Chicago.
From Chicago. I'm from Chicago. Carol is from New York.
But, I mean, before here,
and I'm
I
not
was from
apologizing
Chicago.
for either of those things.
Chicago's a beautiful city. New York is a great city. I love New York. Wouldn't want to live there because I like quiet. But Chicago's beautiful, but the weather sucks.
How big was the decision to move?
I guess it was huge. I mean, changing countries isn't exactly like, changing cities, I guess. Our family, in Chicago, there were mixed reactions, you know.
They still blame me.
Yeah, well, but that's because I blamed Carol, actually. So, yeah, it was once we got my mother's head out of the oven, I think things went much smoother.
So are you a comedian by trade, Charley?
Or birth, or whatever.
Yeah, trade, birth, Yeah, that's pretty much what I do here also. I did that in the States for several years, I think 5, 6 years while I was in the States.
Time flies.
That's what I did for a living. I traveled all around the country, clubs, colleges, that kind of thing.
What's the wackiest thing about living in Israel?
Oh, God, where do you begin? But you know what? I think we don't look at it anymore the same as when we first moved here. I think the wackiness was more, we were able to see it more clearer when we first moved here.
Yeah, I guess. It's not, you know what, when I first moved here, I wrote an email to another friend of mine in Chicago who is a comedian, and I just wrote to him and I said, there's just too much comedy here for one stand-up comedian.
I don't know, the people drive like maniacs here. I think that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Where more people have actually died in traffic accidents than in the wars and terrorist attacks. That's how crazy they drive in this country.
That's not funny.
It's not funny, but it's crazy.
Oh, okay.
Bank stories are the banking system is crazy.
Everything here. If you don't have a sense of humor here, you will be eaten alive.
You have a personal relationship with your banker here. You can go to your bank, the teller that takes care of you most of the time, and you can say, listen, I'm writing a check. I'm not covered yet for it. Do me a favor and let it go through. And they will.
Sounds like a small town in Iowa, because that's what we do here.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, this entire country is like living in Mayberry.
So I live in Iowa. It's just like living in Israel.
But yeah, exactly.
And I would have to ask, one of my favorite listeners for our podcast is from Iowa, Jim from Iowa. I have to mention him on your show, and we'll have to ask him.
Carol's the only person that I know that gives our listeners plugs.
He's just so nice.
That's right. That's a personal relationship with your audience. I think that's great. Tell me about the sobering reality, though, of living in Israel.
It's less sobering than you would think. I think on a day-to-day basis, it's a great place to raise kids. As weird, that may sound very strange to you, but my kids have freedom that they would never have in the States.
One of the things that we hear a lot about Israelisms podcast is that it gives people a completely different perspective on not only Israel in the political sense, but also in the everyday sense. Because what people hear and read about in the papers about Israel is that, we're like living in some war-torn, pressure-packed situation, and it's just not like that. And
we are, but we're not.
Well, yeah. Listen, everybody is, no matter where you live, and I think that's what surprises people the most is the sameness of Israel as compared to every other place.
Except kids do have more freedom here.
Oh yeah, no, it's much more. I tell you something, it's safer. It's
in
safer
the
living
States,
here.
When the kids, our girls were little, I had to know where they were every second, and I had to be able to see them if we were in a crowded place.
When we lived
when we lived in the States, and here it's very different. And here I had to kind of learn to let go, relax. It's okay.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to happen to them.
Here we have no idea where our kids are at any given moment, and personally, I prefer it that way.
And I actually sleep well at night when they go out at night.
As a matter of fact, I've tried changing the locks on the doors and moved without telling them.
And that hasn't really worked, has it?
They found us every time.
And they keep climbing in through the window.
They've become really good as they've gotten older.
This is going to be a very interesting interview because I don't know when you're being serious or when you're being funny.
But we did have to promise the kids that we would buy them a dog when we moved here. They were 9 and 12 at the time. And we had a house in the States, but I kept telling them, when we get a bigger place, we'll get a dog. And then when we moved here, we moved to an apartment first, and we got a dog. So they always thought that was a little bit strange.
What's the dog's name?
Dog's name is Max, but now we've got 2 dogs and a cat in the meantime.
Cat's name is?
The cat's name is Smelly. There's the story to that.
Well, we found the cat, and
It found us.
Yeah.
It came into our yard.
So you've got Max and Smelly as your pets.
And Elvis. No, we also have Elvis. Elvis is another dog.
It's a stray dog that one of our daughters found as a small puppy. She either found him or took him or...
We're not quite sure.
Whatever. We don't like to ask a lot of questions.
What's the biggest news story of the day in Israel?
The White Sox are winning.
Israel, Charlie.
Oh,
Israel.
I thought me personally.
No.
I'm sorry.
No, the world, the universe does not center around you all the time.
Really?
I know, it's shocking.
Thank God we're on this show. I would have never known. Amazing. The biggest news story today, let me think. God.
You know what the great thing is, I think, is that there is no big news story today, and I'm thankful for it.
We're living in a place that really is news-centered. This is actually a fact, is that the average Israeli subscribes to 2.5 newspapers a day. I've looked on newsstands, and I've never actually found that half of a paper. But everybody is involved in the news in the day, and politics here is, I mean, thank God for the politics here, otherwise I wouldn't have an act.
Things are kind of quiet now. I mean, we're out of Gaza.
Yeah.
The disengagement part is over.
I guess Sharon trying to be overthrown by his own political party. It's kind of newsworthy.
The Palestinians are fighting amongst themselves at this point.
Yeah, which is kind of a break for us.
That's kind of been quiet for us.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, it kind of makes me nervous when it's slow news days, because then Carol and I have absolutely nothing to talk about on Fridays on our podcast.
Oh, I'm already set for tomorrow.
Oh, really? You've got your notes already?
Yeah.
I can't believe it. She is always so prepared, Bill.
That's good. At least somebody has got the I's dotted and the T's crossed.
I know.
It's a tough job, and somebody's got to do it.
I go in there with nothing.
Tell me this. How does the average Israeli citizen see American foreign policy as it's being played out in the Middle East?
We're actually passing around a petition to get in as the 51st state before Puerto Rico.
Bada boom, bada bing.
Sometimes it feels like, we're part of the United States. And that's not a bad thing. We love the United States.
No, the United States serves a great purpose in that sometimes it gives us, or the political process, the shove that we need. And
also the support, and not necessarily the shove.
Yeah, and the support, because, besides the United States, all we've got is Micronesia. And I still haven't been able to find them on a world globe.
And for anybody, Micronesia always votes pro-Israel in the UN for some reason. And we appreciate it, Micronesia.
Yes, wherever they are.
I think, though, Israelis, they worried about the states when they got into the war in Iraq. The Israelis were worried for the Americans because they weren't sure that the United States knew what they were getting into. They knew that the United States could win the war, to kick Saddam out, but they were worried about, afterwards. And rightfully so. It's not that easy.
How do you see the afterwards, which is what we're in right now, playing out?
Oh, man. I don't know. Good question. I have no idea. It's and I think that if you ask any Israeli, they'll give you the same reaction. We don't know. First of all, we're so involved in what's going on here with the Palestinians and the economy and things like that. We try not to even offer up an opinion on what the United States should do in their Middle East.
What country are you living in?
What?
Israelis don't have an opinion, or is it we as me and you?
No. An opinion on what the United States should do in Iraq.
I would say that they've got to clean out the insurgents, would be the opinion of the Israelis. And as soon as they can get them to get a government together and a constitution and an army, then get out. But they've got to be tough and clean out the insurgents. I don't think there's any other way around it.
In your opinion, how will the Middle East look once the Americans have left Iraq?
Hopefully there will be a democracy in Iraq. Hopefully, if the Palestinians are smart enough, there will be a democracy in a country that hopefully they will try and build instead of doing what they're doing now. And then hopefully the others will fall into place. Egypt is making teeny tiny baby steps. Jordan, I think, is baby steps. And countries like Syria and Iran are going to be forced to.
That's best case scenario.
Obviously.
Now, realistically,
in my nice little world.
Yeah. Realistically, I don't see it changing much. I really don't, because you're dealing with a tribal system when you're talking about Arab countries. And anytime that you're dealing with that, it's a whole nother ballgame.
Tell me about your first trip to Israel. What was that like?
First trip ever?
First trip ever.
That's where we met.
That's where we met many, about 2,000 years ago, actually.
We're well preserved.
It was, Moses said, "Come on, we're getting out of here." And Carol and I said, "Yeah, we're tired of Egypt. Let's go." It was our first year of college.
Right.
Was spent here.
But we met in the airport in Paris.
Program. Well, yeah. But anyway, to make an exciting story short, we were on the same program the year after high school that we actually met here. And then we went back to the States after a year and spent many years
apart.
One thing led to another, and here we are.
So now that you're living in Israel, tell me some comparisons. First of all, what are the taxes like in Israel compared to what you paid in the U.S.?
I think taxes are high here. I can tell you that, but it's not. Yeah. You don't have to fill out your income tax every year.
No, because they take it from you as you're walking out of work.
And
guy from the government with a cash register.
A paycheck is so unbelievably low. I mean, there's just so much written on your pay stub. I don't even bother to figure it out anymore.
Right. No, there's an old saying: is that if you want to make a small fortune in Israel, come here with a large one.
What's the crime rate like? We've talked a little bit about that. So, I mean, your kids are safe. You feel safe. Has it always been that way?
Yeah, probably in the years previous, probably even
more
safer. So. Yeah.
Not only that, what we don't have here is random crime. Nobody is just like killed by some serial killer, or you walk down the street and it's those random acts of crime that we don't have.
Right. Yes, they're much better at planning here.
No, but also it's such a small country. Like where are these guys going to run to?
Where the hell are you going to run?
It's not like they can.
You run too far, you're in Egypt. It's not exactly where you want to go. It's to give you an idea of how small this country is that every year, I don't know if you're a runner or not, but every year they have the Jerusalem Marathon. It's actually technically only a half marathon. And my opinion is because if they had the full marathon, you would wind up like in an enemy country.
Now, there's some old joke about some guy coming in and stealing from some other guy. And then the guy wakes up in the middle of the night and the thief is there. And then it's like, hey, I know you, because they were in the army together, because this is such a small country. Everybody knows. It's unbelievable how people know each other.
It sounds like Iowa. You keep reminding me that it's like Iowa.
We could have moved to Iowa, except I think the weather here is a little better. I'm not sure.
Here are the final 5 questions. What's the biggest Israeli pastime?
Soccer.
Really?
Yeah. What would you say?
I was listening to Israelisms. No, huh? I'm probably not yet anyway. Biggest Israeli pastime? Yeah.
Arguing politics.
Yeah, arguing politics. Arguing about anything, actually.
True. But soccer is right up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I still hate soccer.
What's the Hebrew word for idiot?
That would be debil.
Or tembo is more. They don't use debil that often.
What's the most popular American TV show in Israel?
We have a lot of them, actually.
Yeah, because
what's our favorite? What's our latest favorite? Would you say Boston Legal is our latest, or Ed?
Yeah, you guys probably don't even have Ed anymore, do you? And we just started getting it.
No, Ed's been off a while.
Yeah.
We love it. But Boston Legal, I would say, is there in this
everybody
house.
knows about Raymond.
Yeah, but that's already off the air. But I mean, as far as what we watch,
No, but he's talking about in Israel.
uh,
You know what was funny is that a lot of Israelis got involved in American Idol, which I thought was kind of funny.
Your most favorite holiday in Israel?
4th of July. Oh, no. No.
actually, Independence Day is a Sunday.
Yeah.
Purim is fun though because it's kind of what see the little kids getting dressed up.
Yeah, Purim is
No, I know what my
Person of
favorite
Holiday.
holiday is.
What?
Used to be Lag BaOmer.
Oh, where they
God,
set the country on fire.
I can't get into the whole meaning behind the holiday, but kids stay out all night. They build bonfires, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You wake up in the morning and there's like this haze over the whole country.
Everything smells like smoke. I mean, like you go into your closet and there's like an ash smell.
And kids like the whole couple of weeks before start gathering wood from everywhere. So you got to watch, make sure your coffee table is
You
in
have
your
to
house.
hide your wooden furniture.
Sounds like homecoming week in Iowa.
There you go. Same thing. Except on a much grander scale. Like every other block, there's like a homecoming bonfire going on.
And finally, what's the biggest misconception most people have about living in Israel?
That it's dangerous. That's really an easy one.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that one.
That it's dangerous, because the funniest thing in the world is when you listen to Israelis talk and somebody will be going to New York, they'll tell them, listen, be careful. And if you go to the States, you tell them that you're going to Israel and you get the exact same reaction.
No, you get more of, are you crazy?
Yeah.
But it's a great country. The people here are wonderful. They're warm. They passionate.
Yeah.
Friendly.
Friendly, pushy, obnoxious, loud.
Well, it's like,
but we love them.
Yes.
As if they were our own.
Well, here comes the most dangerous part of the interview, and this is because you guys are a real hoot. I mean, I've just, through this whole thing, I've just been chuckling behind the mic. I'm sure it comes out, but we're going to go ahead and do Ask Bill 3. This is where I'm going to give you guys the table, and you get to ask me 3 questions about anything, so fire away. And by the way, we haven't previewed these questions either, so I have no idea what you're going to ask me.
That's right. So these are 3 questions for Bill. Here's
Do we get 3 separate ones, or
did you have questions also?
You each get 1 point.
one.
Okay.
You each get 1.5.
Go,
Okay.
Charlie.
My first one is, Bill, you have a great broadcasting voice. But tell us, what does your real voice sound like?
Well, what you hear is what you get.
No, come on, seriously.
No, seriously.
It's probably some like high-pitched 13-year-old.
Well,
Come on, do a real voice for us, Bill.
Well, I can do like the what would be the tea kettle ladies from Monty Python. Hello, good people of Israel. Something
There you
like
go.
that.
Excellent.
Okay,
See? That's what you really sound like, isn't it?
that's right.
I
Hello,
figured.
hello. Yes, I can do that.
I knew it.
That's a great voice. I was just going to ask you who you voted for, Bush or Kerry.
Bush.
So did I, but
Kerry, just didn't have any real good plans. A lot of people in Iowa voted for Kerry in the caucuses, but then Bush carried the day. So, from what I can see after the election, he's kind of like a poor loser, and he always has to throw his 2 cents in worth and do his criticism. So, because of that, I'm glad he's not president.
Now, and this isn't a Bill question, but isn't the plural of caucus, caucus?
It's cuckoo.
Cuckoo. Okay, that makes more sense. All right, and the third question. Here's a political question, Bill. because I know, according to your show, because I've listened to a few of them, you're not afraid to get controversial. So if Condoleezza Rice, okay, you know who she is, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Because I don't want to throw you a curve or anything. If Condoleezza Rice was a character on the Brady Bunch, who would she be and why?
Marsha.
How did I know?
No way would she stand for being in the middle. So the only way that you would ever fit into the Brady Bunch would be Marsha. Same question back to you.
Whoa. I would have to say.
Now, who's that? The cook, the one.
Yeah, the housekeeper.
What was her name?
Alice.
Alice. She would have to be Alice because she's constantly cleaning up everybody's messes.
Good one.
Very good.
I was going to think maybe Mrs. Brady because she is kind of, stately, but I like your answer better.
Well, thank you.
This is a first.
Yeah, we agree. Whoa. I hope our listeners are listening.
Or maybe they shouldn't listen.
Yeah,
they
right.
Shouldn't,
yeah,
they shouldn't expect us too much.
Yeah, I know. Ruin our reputation if we start agreeing.
Well, why don't you tell a little bit about your podcast and about how you got it started?
Charlie,
The way that we started it, obviously, I've been in entertainment in some form or another for like the last 15, 16 years. And when I found out about podcasting, when did we do our first podcast?
March. Beginning of March.
Beginning of March. We've done 30 some odd podcasts. So I read about it on the internet, and I'm thinking, you know what, I could do this. And I used to actually, way back when, I used to have like a comedy site called Israelisms, in which I did some multimedia stuff, some this and that. So I figured, okay, I was going to do Israelisms again, except podcasting really gave me the, I guess, the format, the venue to do it how I've always wanted to do it. And it was just too perfect, except I didn't want to just do it myself. Now, Carol and I, believe it or not, what you in many, many situations, what you hear on the podcast is really real life with Carol and myself. And I thought that would be really funny, except Carol would never, ever talk in front of people. And
hard to believe now.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like, she would never even
but there's
go
nobody,
to my comedy shows with me for fear that she would have to talk to some of the audience afterwards.
Not that, no. That now you're exaggerating.
Carol, I told you, when I start making stuff up, you have to agree with me.
Okay.
So anyway, so basically what happened is that I handed her...
Yeah, you didn't give me time to think about it.
No, I handed her the headphones and a microphone, and I said, here, sit down, let's talk. And that's really how the first one started. And and then she got hooked, and now she's just a crazy woman with the whole thing. I mean, she's out getting, votes at Podcast Alley and Podcast Pickle and hounding me about, what we're going to do for the next show, and she's amazed. It's like it's a drug for her, actually. She's going to go to podcast rehab soon.
We just get such nice, people are so nice. We get such nice responses from people. They enjoy it, so I like to make people happy.
We didn't expect the reaction that we've gotten. We certainly didn't expect the numbers, the huge audience that we've received.
And we get people from, some guy in Singapore.
Yeah, from Norway, from
Japan, Jewish, Christian, everything.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Yeah. It's just it's really we've overshot all of our we had no expectation, so anything would have overshot it. But we had no idea that it was going to be as popular, as successful as it is, and we're really grateful. and we just, now we just want it to keep getting bigger.
So how can people find out about your show? Where can they go to listen to Israelisms?
Well, see, that's the thing, Bill. It's invitation only. We have a very select crowd. Okay, maybe not.
No, we'll take anybody.
Oh, yeah. I knew it was one or the other.
And we like people that have opinions. We like to hear, even when they don't agree with us.
So you can find us at www.israelisms.com. And there it's got all the descriptions about, how you can subscribe and, through iTunes and Podcast Pickle and all the rest of them. But it's Israelisms.com.
Thank you so much for being our guest here on You Are the Guest. Good luck with your podcast, and good luck with Smelly the Cat.
Thanks, Bill. And good luck to you. Thanks for inviting us. We really had a great time.
Yeah, and it was nice to meet you. Now I know 2 people in Iowa.
If you'd like to be a guest on a future show, just go to our website at www.youarethiguest.com. Submit your first name, the town where you live, and a short description on why you'd make a good guest. There is no charge for being a guest, and you'll have the opportunity to share what you think and how the news and events from today affect your life. The show's producers will contact you by email if you're chosen for a future show.
There it is. That's show 14 of You Are the Guest. And taking us out are 2 songs from the Pod Show Pod Safe Music Network. From Washington, we have the Super Suckers with Sleepy Vampire. But first, from Aberdeen, South Dakota, here's Darren Jeffrey with Feeling California. From the great city of Fort Dodge, Iowa, I'm Bill Grady. Thanks for listening.
I'm leaving South Dakota behind and I'm driving away from you. And I keep telling myself I'm selling myself, I'm selling myself. I'm feeling California tonight, 'cause South Dakota just wasn't right for me. Minnesota's much too cold, and Santa Fe was too damn old for me. And that's why I'm here.
Music provided from the PodSafe Music Network. Check it out at music.podshow.com.